Today we are going to be making a no-bake chocolate custard. It's super creamy, it's really simple ingredients, way easier to do than your classic pot de creme, and the big surprise here is it's going to be vegan with no eggs. We're going to go from raw ingredients here into our blender and cast it in less than 5 minutes. With this, our secret key ingredient is Low-Acyl Gellan. It's really close to replicating what the egg yolks and creams do for our custards. So our first step we're gonna do is we're gonna take our water, raw cashews, and sugar and just bring it up to a boil. Just hurry up and wait time now. A couple little notes. First is you wanna give this a little stir, make sure that there's no solidified chunks of sugar on the bottom. Now that we're up to a boil, we do our first stage of blending. Really all we're trying to do at this point is to get it as smooth as we can before we start adding the chocolate. You don't need to go nuts though. Stage 1 is done. So it's warm, ready to go. We're just gonna add our chocolate right in and then keep going again. At this stage, we wanna go all the way up to 180 degrees before we add in our hydrocolloids. Start it out low. We made it up to 180 degrees. Now we can add the hydrocolloid in while it's still spinning. At that point, we're not gonna stop. I'll monitor the temperature until we get to 200 degrees, and then we're gonna cast it. All right, we went up over 200, gave it a good minute to spin. Now we're ready to cast and tap. Remember, this is the part we want to be fast because this will start to set back up if it drops down below 190 degrees. So right now, while it's still really hot and fluid, we're gonna give it a few taps to try to get the air bubbles out of there. That's gonna give you the densest, smoothest texture. It's not a step that you have to do if you don't mind having a little bit of air bubbles in there, but we like to have it nice and creamy. You can see the bubbles starting to pop. It's already starting to set on the top. So at this point, we've done enough. I'm just gonna transition this into the fridge. We'll clean up and I'll show you one that I set earlier. All right, so this is our staged one that we did a little while ago, so it's fully cooled. We're gonna flip it out, give it a quick little garnish and taste it. Take the plate or tray that you're using, set it right on top, flip it. And this benefit here of having the plastic wrap is you don't need to try to wiggle it around or anything. Just give it a hold. So we'll pop it out. Carefully kind of pull it around so if you don't pull the edges up with it, unmold it. You could serve it just like this, but as you can see, we got a little bit of ribbing, the logo from the pan. So we want to put a little cocoa powder on that, fancy it up. If you don't want to get the cocoa powder all over your serving plate, you can do this onto a roasting rack or something that will like clean around the edge so you don't have all this excess. So we're gonna cut this and give it a taste. Oh, flop over. Beautiful texture. Little touch of air bubble in there, maybe a little bit of the chunks of the cashew, but when you taste it, it's gonna be really smooth. I'm gonna give this a bite. Oh, that's a great texture. You make this for somebody, nobody's gonna guess that there's no egg and no milk in there. It's super rich, decadent, and the texture of this custard is amazing. If this sticks, your mold messes up, take this whole thing and throw it in your food processor, blend it up, and you have pudding. All right, that's our no-bake chocolate custard. If you want some more information on hydrocolloids, check out the page that we have on ChefSteps.com. It's time to eat. Creamy.